Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Tuesday, July the 9th, 2024, and I would like to welcome you all to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornegay. Hope everyone's enjoying their Tuesday or will enjoy their Tuesday, second day into the work week. We are back at work. We are back at work. How exciting. How exciting. All right. Today's word of the day, thwart, which means to stop something from happening. Thwart. Yeah, like I said, we are in this second day of the work week. We just are. If I sounds enthused, I really ain't. I'm really not. But hey, there is always bills to be paid, bills to be paid. I don't know about money to be made as much as I do about bills to be paid. Never ending cycle, never ending cycle. Hey, before I go any further, hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. Hate for you guys to miss out on some of these great topics. So hit that like, subscribe, and that bell icon. Hey, we're going to have to talk about a lot of interesting topics, a lot of great discussions, and hey, and I would love for you guys to get in that comment section. Let me know what you think about some of these topics I'm talking about. Like I always say, is it good, bad, ugly, or just flat out ignorant? Let me know. No matter what, I am pretty thick-skinned. I won't bite. I won't bite. So hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon. All right, let's move along here, man. Hey, the heat, the heat, the heat. Sweet baby Jesus. It ain't letting up. I thought we were gonna get a little bit of cool down. Last time I talked to you guys, I told you about Sunday. There was supposed to be some rain coming in. It didn't really rain. Not here anyway. Not in good old Durham. It didn't. It didn't. Temps, it did kind of mellow out and out. It dropped a little bit, but it still was hot. Still thankful for that. That little, I don't even call it, I don't think you could call it a cool down. It only dropped a few degrees. And then, of course, Monday, it shot right back up. So much so, it's a continuation. Today is expected to be in the upper 90s with a real feel of 108 degrees. Wow. And that's going to continue for the rest of the week, at least until Thursday, when they're saying, hey, Thursday evening into Friday, we're going to get some rain and it's going to cool things down a bit. What they're saying is Friday is going to be as high as 87 with that rain. They're saying it's going to be a washout. We're going to finally get it, and it's expected to help with this drought problem we have. Also, yeah, we're facing a drought. We haven't really gotten any rain like that. We just haven't. And like I always tell you guys, any amount of rain is good for me, especially now more than ever. Like I said, we've had that drought. Hurricane Beryl. In fact, they're saying that's what that rain is going to come from. We're going to be getting a little bit of the remnants of Beryl. Certainly is much needed. Certainly is much needed. I apologize for that. My phone was on. I usually am pretty up on that. I usually turn my phone down completely, put it on do not disturb, but this time apparently I have forgotten. And speaking of Hurricane Beryl, it has made landfall. It made landfall in Texas, and Houston, of course, has gotten hammered. What they're saying is 2.3 million folks are without power in Texas because of Hurricane Beryl. Man. Uh, it ravished Jamaica. It came, it started developing out there, and then it came on land in Jamaica. And of course, it's an island, so it ran rickshaw over that, and it left many tourists stranded in Jamaica over the weekend. And of course, they were upset. I can't rightly figure out why they were upset. I mean, I understand. I get it. I got it. I understand. You're stranded. You checked out. There was one lady, she was on the news saying, hey, I checked out at a resort and now I'm stuck at the airport. I can't go anywhere. What are we supposed to do? Just sleep out here? Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Or what were you expecting if it's a hurricane? Planes ain't flying, lady. Planes ain't flying. Cruise ships ain't cruising. What did you expect? Why were you complaining? I mean, if you were frustrated, just say I'm frustrated because of what happened, but don't make it seem as though it's somehow, some way, it's the airport's fault that a hurricane came and you checked out of your resort and you don't have anywhere to go and you have to sleep in the airport. I am empathetic. I understand completely. I can't imagine how I would feel if I was stuck in that situation, but I would think I would be a little bit more understanding and utilize that common sense that the good Lord gave me. There's really nothing they can do, and there isn't. Once again, the planes ain't flying, cruise ships ain't cruising. You're stuck. Deal with it. And at the most, it's only going to be a day or so. I think, like I always say, I think some folks just want to complain about any and everything. And any chance they get, they gripe. They just do. I just didn't see the need for her to get on national TV and complain like that. Like it was actually someone's fault that a hurricane came through and wiped out. They destroyed, not destroyed, but it did destroy part of the island or some of the island or a large portion of the island, and air traffic was null and void. It stopped. And you had already checked out of your resort. And you have to sleep at the airport. Could be a whole lot worse. I wouldn't gripe too much. It could have been a whole lot worse. Like I said, Beryl made landfall in Texas around Houston. And, they got hammered with heavy rain and winds and flooding. So 2.3 million are without power. Now we can move across the United States to the West Coast, California. We're not, it's not an odd thing to hear about California and the wildfires, especially this time of the year. But what's hyping it up or amping it up is the heat. They got a heat wave going out there in California, 100-degree plus days coming out the gate. Ain't real feel. It's 100. They have a heat wave going on out there also. So you got a heat wave in California. You got a heat wave throughout the United States. You got a hurricane. Whew. This is going to be one of those record-breaking summers again. I can tell you, I feel it. I feel it coming on. I feel it coming on, just like last year. Just pray for everyone, and we just got to remain calm and understanding. This is Mother Nature. This happens. I felt myself the past week when those real feels were up above 100. I could tell my body and my mind, they were working against each other because I was saying to myself, those 100-degree days, I was like, man, I don't feel like doing nothing. Better not nobody say nothing to me. No one cares about that. No one cares. Hey, they're experiencing the same thing you are. So you just got to be calm and patient and bear with it. It will pass eventually, but I don't think it's going to pass anytime soon. Yeah, these real feel of 108, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe they said yesterday it might have been a real feel of 110, 109. Wow, I can feel every bit of it, as I'm sure many of you are. If you're here in North Carolina, you can feel every bit of it as soon as you stepped outside, just like I did, and I could. And when I stepped out, I was like, boy, 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 boy. So if you're outside, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Of course, wear that sunscreen. Put a hat on your head. Wear those light-colored, loose-fitting clothes, and please, 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 if you can, limit your time outside. Just got to. And for those that have to work outside, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate as much as you can. Try to find some shade when you can. That may be next to impossible for many of those that work outside, but man, take care of yourself first. And also recognize the signs of heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. And you got to. You got to. So take care of yourself out there. And above all, and also remember, check on the elderly folks. We all know how the elderly folks do. When it gets warm, they don't do air conditioning like that. They just don't. So check on the elderly folks. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Wear that sunscreen. Put that hat on your head. Limit your time outside. Wear light, loose-fitting clothes, and recognize the signs of heat exhaustion versus heat stroke. Man, this is going to be a record-breaking summer. It just is. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my bones. All right, let's move along here, man. And more Biden news and more President Biden news. There's no surprise there. He's still facing fallout after that debate, then that television interview last week. Now it appears more Democrats are coming out publicly and calling for him to step down. There's been several. It's at a dozen, if I'm not mistaken now. They keep coming out bit by bit, saying the same thing. Hey, he's too old. His cognitive skills. We really think it's time for him to step down. It's not that many, but you got to keep in mind also that the Democratic Party is getting ready to have their convention, national convention, where they're going to either give President Biden the go-ahead or go with someone else. So in August, I believe it's in August. Yeah, I think it's in August. We'll see. Will he get the nomination to run again for president of the United States, or will they give it to somebody else? Many Democrats are saying it's time for you to step aside over there, President Joe Biden. Is it? Now, the latest group or round of Democrats to call for him to step aside, they aren't just regular Democrats. These are some Democrats that hold some pretty good positions, high positions in Congress. They range from Armed Services Committee, Judiciary Committee, Veterans Affairs Committee, to the Administration House Affairs Committee. These aren't some slouch positions. These are some top-ranking Democrats, delegates, and you got to get their nomination, their vote, in order to run for president, or to get the nomination to run again. So these Democrats that are coming out and saying, "Hey, it's time to step aside," they ain't regular Democrats. They hold some pretty powerful positions in that Congress. We'll see what happens with that. And if that's not odd enough, like I said, you got some Democrats within his own party that are saying, hey, step aside, step down. You have some donors, some major donors that are saying the same thing. Like one of the donors who happens to be the head of Netflix has called for President Biden to step down also. And when I say donor, he's not giving they're not giving a few $100s here and there. They're coming up off some money, and they're saying, hey, if he doesn't stop, or the Democratic Party doesn't get rid of him and have him step aside, we're going to stop donating. Yeah, that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. If they can't get that funding, hey, the thing that has came out is former President Trump, after that debate, he slipped ahead of President Biden a bit. And then many are saying, or those pollsters are predicting, that that gap is going to widen. So who knows what the Democratic Party is going to do? Like I said, many are saying for him to step aside. Donors are starting to pull out. And just the other day, there was pretty much a shouting match at a press briefing at the White House. Press secretary got into it with some of the reporters. Some of the reporters, of course, they were horning in and haggling her about the president and his health and well-being. And they even went as far as to talk about quite possibly him having or had a Parkinson's test to see if he has Parkinson's disease. I don't see that. I just see an old guy. I got to be honest with you. I just see an old guy. He's up in age. He just is. I don't see this Parkinson. I don't know where that Parkinson's test came from. I think a lot of people now, with all these reporters and some Republicans on the other side, I think you guys are reaching. I just didn't. I don't see Parkinson's disease. I don't know a lot about Parkinson's disease, but I do know, and I do know an older person when I see it. He's just old. Now, of course, his press secretary and the administration, they're vowing that, hey, he's not stepping down, he's not stepping aside, it ain't going to happen. He's had physicals on a regular basis. He's had the cognitive test. He's even had a doctor come in and administer some kind of test for Parkinson's disease. And he's all systems are go. He's fine. It was just a bad debate, a bad night. He was off his game. He was exhausted, as he says, the president says, and that's that. Maybe, maybe not. Like I said, I don't know about Parkinson's disease, but I just don't see it. I just see an older gentleman that is just old. Just is. He's supposed to give another, he's going to be giving a press conference this Thursday. We'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes. Hey, what are you going to do? This is something he has to do. This is something that he will be doing on a regular basis, whether or not all of this came up about his health and cognitive skills after that debate. It just, I mean, hey, like I said, I just see an old guy. He's old. He is. And, many older politicians have came out and came to his defense also. One in particular, Representative, I believe, Maxine Waters. She came out. She says, "Hey, I'm older than he is. I still get up every day. I still move around, do what I got to do. He's fine." I think she's about 2 or 3 years older than he is. I mean, they're old. They're up there in age. Of course, they're not going to be fired back with wit and spontaneous reaction. Of course, they're going to drag a little bit. He's old. He just is. But, like I said, no matter how old he is, I could tell he was off. And I'm sure many of you have determined the same thing. Yes, he is off. He is off. He's old. He's slower. He just is, and I didn't know this. He, at one point in time, he was the youngest person in the Senate. Now he could be, if he's not the oldest, he's one of the oldest in the Senate now. Full circle. Guy's been in the business a long time. But yeah, I don't think he has Parkinson's disease. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where in the world, where do these people get these ideas from, man? I mean, I don't see Parkinson's disease. I see a guy who's just old and up there in age. So he's going to give that press conference Thursday. We'll see what happens. Hey, moving along here also, man, more, continuing with politics, more Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson news. The gubernatorial hopeful here in North Carolina is supposed to speak at a church today at a fundraiser. Now, this church, wow. This church, it has came under investigation in the past by the State Bureau of Investigations here in North Carolina for fraud, child abuse, both sexual and physical, and child slave labor violations. There were some convictions, but this is what they're calling a conservative church, and it's called the Word of Faith Fellowship in Rutherford County, North Carolina. It's out in the western part of the state, going towards the mountains. But one thing that came out, and hey, it is what it is. This is politics. This is politics. That's all it is. Coming up on the election, and they're pulling any and everything out, just like his staff said. As it relates to that piece I talked to you guys about last week with them. This is just politics. This is what politicians do. I mean, Now, this church, like I said, they came under investigation. There has been some convictions for child abuse, both sexual and physical. But this church has already given thousands of dollars to the Robinson campaign. They're major contributors. So that's why he's going to this church. It is a conservative church, and he's a Republican. Why not? Like I said, this is politics. This is just to put it out there. You know, what else he has going on is no surprise. He's into politics. Why not rub elbows with those that believe in what you believe in? As far as that church goes, good Lord, they got a lot. They had a lot going on, man. And with the there was the child abuse charges. Like I said, there was a conviction, but apparently one of the members or two of the members were DAs in that county, and they were trying to, or they had with previous cases swept a lot of stuff under the rug, but they couldn't sweep this child abuse and sexual and physical abuse allegations or charges that were later found to be true. They couldn't sweep that under the rug. So this is a pretty prominent, powerful church in Rutherford County, North Carolina. So we'll see what happens. All right, nothing's going to happen. He's just going to take the money, speak for a little while, and then leave and add it to his copper. What do you got? I'm not sure what's hoped to be gained outside of maybe those voters that were teetering on the line of whether or not to vote for him, or look and be like, well, I'm not voting for him. That's the only outcome I could think. You certainly aren't going to bring anything to light that we, as regular citizens, don't know about the lieutenant governor. We know where he stands. He tells you every chance he gets. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't backtrack. He's a conservative Republican. He makes no qualms about it. He'll let you know. He'll gladly let you know. So all of this stuff that's coming out now about him, okay, stands to reason that he was go to a church, because that's what he's been doing the majority of his hopes of being a governor. Even before, a lot of those speeches you hear or have heard him give were given at churches. That's what he does. He goes to churches and he speaks. Churches invite him and he gives a speech. So, hey, that's the only thing I can think of as far as it goes as to what they hope to gain, and that's to sway some voters to vote for Lieutenant General Josh Stein. That's about the only thing I could come up with. Not surprised that he would be at this church. I got to be honest with you, I'm just not. And I don't think many Americans, many North Carolinians, I should say, I don't think they're surprised either, unless you've been up under a rock. You know where he stands. He doesn't sway from it. He doesn't tell you anything that what he says, he'll say it again. Let's put it like that. Put it like that. All right, let's move along here, man. Hey, Russia. Good Lord. It appears they have bombed a children's hospital in the Ukraine. And this comes right on the heels. You know, there's a NATO summit taking place here in Washington, D.C. this week. And that's where President Biden's going to give that press conference. Also, but like I said, this strike in Ukraine at this children's hospital, it comes right on the hill during this NATO summit. So, you know, that's going to be a hot topic of conversation also. Yeah, but I think all of that's going to be superseded by President Biden and his mental capacity and his cognitive skills. And can he or should he be elected president of the United States again? That's taking front and center stage now, folks. That seems to be all the talking points on any and every news station you turn. That's what is being discussed. Can he do it, or should he stay? Who am I to say? We'll see. We will see. But yeah, Russia hit that children's hospital. You know, when you see the images of those kids, um, because what has been shown is those kids. It's a children's hospital. You know, just like any children's hospital, there's a lot of treatment going on for these kids for many diseases and ailments, and all of that has stopped because of that missile attack on that hospital. So the kids are pretty much sitting outside. Wow, the world gets crazier every single day, folks. It just does. It just does. This world, the brutality of some folks, it's mind blowing. I don't understand how some people sleep at night. But then again, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? All right, let's go get it, man. And a little bit of news. Oh, excuse me, folks. I really haven't talked about it, but it's been reappearing just about every week. Uh, at one point in time, it was on the news. It was well talked about. But President Biden and his woes and troubles have bumped this topic. So I want to talk about it a little bit today. It appears here last week that two Democratic senators have called for a criminal investigation into Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Well, what do you know? Well, like I said, it's been in the news. It's been talked about. We all, if you've been watching the news, you know what's going on. These two apparently have gotten together and they've sent a letter to the Attorney General of the United States asking him to appoint a special counsel to probe the justice amidst a series of ethics scandals. Shame on you, Chief Justice. Well, it appears old Chief Justice Clarence Thomas has taken some gifts from wealthy um, donors or wealthy people. I mean, I can see where that could be a problem, and it is a problem. It does raise his eyebrows. Now, these two senators, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, a Democrat from Rhode Island, and Ron Wyden, who's a Democrat from Oregon. Like I said, they sent a letter to Garland, the Attorney General of the United States, last Wednesday, asking him to appoint a special counsel to investigate possible violations of federal ethics and tax laws by Chief Justice Clarence Thomas. Now, he's been under fire for a series of reports detailing how he accepted luxury vacations and other valuable gifts from wealthy friends, many of which were either never reported on financial disclosure forms or were only noted recently in light of the reports. Now, what they're talking about here is, and Chief Justice Thomas, excuse me, has even brought it up. He's brought to the attention. He said a lot of those this financial disclosure forms report. It was recently updated, and when I was receiving these gifts or vacations or that whatever it was, what do you call those? What that Winnebago, where that moving motel on wheels. He got one of those. He says at the time I didn't have to report it. I was told I didn't have to report that because there was no law or what have you that made it mandatory that I report that. That's true. There wasn't that law or that ethics form was just revised a few years ago. So what Clarence Thomas, what Chief Justice Thomas is saying is, hey, at the time that I took these gifts, I was told I didn't have to report it because it wasn't required. It wasn't law. It wasn't mandated. So what are these two senators saying? We now have to go back and we got to scrutinize any and everything that is going on with them from the past. Did he take something recently? and didn't report it. He's saying that it was in the past. It was before this law changed or this ethics rule changed that required him to report it. But the two good senators have said that accepting gifts without reporting them warrants criminal investigation, suggesting Thomas' actions could be a violation of the Ethics in the Government Act, which makes it a crime to knowingly and willfully fail to report or file gifts and income from outside sources. They also pointed to payments that the right-wing judicial activist Leonard Leo made to a consulting firm that is run by Clarence Thomas's wife. You guys are reaching. This is politics once again. Long short of it, it appears these two are somehow, some way, have gotten together and got in their mind that they're going to hammer it and stick it to the Chief Justice. Because there has been a lot of business, a lot of laws and rules and regulations that have came before the Supreme Court that is now a majority of conservatives. And, with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and other gun rights that's came up. And there's, like always, hey, if you know these issues, their main topics and their main thoughts and prayers of the Democratic Party, and they've been getting turned down by this Supreme Court that is a majority of conservatives. So now these two senators have gotten together, and like I said, they formulated this idea of belief that he's in direct violation. But just like I said, when was it that he accepted these gifts and this money? Was it before this Ethics and Government Act was put into place, or was it after? Still haven't really heard. Because Clarence Thomas said, hey, this was before. And I was told when I accepted these things, I didn't have to report it. So was it recent, or was it some time ago before this Ethics in Government Act came about? Or an update to it, I should say. So which is it? Are these two proposing that we waste more of the taxpayers' time and money because there's some little political tug of war going on? Yeah, they are. They're serious. They're adamant. Like I said, I still haven't heard anything. I can't find anything as to when he accepted these gifts and these monies. Was it before or after this act was updated? Now, in addition to potential violations of the Ethics in Government Act, they're saying Thomas' actions could have also violated federal tax laws and laws against making false statements. The senators suggested in their letter to the state attorney general, the attorney general to the United States, I should say. Boy, you guys, boy, they are on a warpath. They are on a warpath. Okay. Now, so far, what they're saying is the Justice Department or the Supreme Court has not yet responded to the request for comments on this letter, and it's quite possibly what could be an investigation. The Attorney General to the United States hasn't responded to it. I don't think I would respond to this foolishness either. This is foolish. This is a colossal waste of time. Until you guys can tell me when he took that money, if it was before or after this act was updated, I'm paying it no mind. I'm paying it no attention. Makes me think, or looks like to me, you guys are just out there scrounging around looking for something, any and everything, because you guys are upset because those powers that be in that Supreme Court who are conservative, they're kicking a lot of things out and back down to the state level that Democrats need and want. This is just politics. And as far as that money that was given to his wife for whatever her business endeavors, that's his wife. She doesn't sit on the Supreme Court. I understand where you might say, hey, there's a direct conflict of interest that this donor is giving money to his wife, but she doesn't sit on the damn Supreme Court. She just doesn't. And of course, we know the recent with Scalia, with him and his wife, and that flag incident. Um, that's his wife also. She doesn't sit on the Supreme Court. Kind of makes you realize, if you sit down and think and really look at it, you can see the politicizing of any and everything, whatever it takes to discredit the opposing side. But that's politics for both sides, Democrat and Republican. Both do it. Republicans do it. Democrats do it. They just do. Just like I said, it remains unclear if if the Attorney General of the United States is going to give any credence to this and actually appoint a special counsel, waste time and taxpayers' money to look into these allegations. For me, who cares? This is what politics is, regardless of who's in office. Favors are favors. This is what we know. We've seen this for years, folks. This is nothing to gasp at and say, oh God, oh my God, can't believe it. I can believe it. I can believe it if he took something. And whether it was before or after this Ethics Act was updated, either way, who cares? Don't you guys have something else to do rather than play this politics, these political games? I get it, got it, understand it. It's an election year. You're looking for any and everything to hold on to and discredit the next guy or discredit the next party. But in the event, let's just say that you guys scrounge around and the Attorney General of the United States does decide to appoint this special counsel and he finds some ethics violations. What are you going to do to the Chief Justice? You can't kick him out. That's a lifetime appointment. Only way out is death. He's there until he dies. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe death is the only way out. Even if he gets old, gray, and senile, he's still in there. So it brings me back to my original question. What the hell are you guys looking for? You can't get rid of the guy. You can't. He can't go anywhere. The only way out is death. What do you hope to discredit him? He wasn't voted in by the people. He was appointed by a sitting U.S. president, who is Republican, by the way. So I guess that maybe that goes towards the long haul, the long game. You can discredit the Republican Party. That's the only thing I can come up with. Because this appointment to sit on the Supreme Court is a lifetime appointment. Death is it. That's the only way to get rid of him. Death. You have to die. You discrediting him ain't gonna do squat. And it ain't surprising me, and I'm sure it's not surprising many of you out there, that he's been taking gifts or money. That's politics. That is the judicial system. That's government, is it not? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Whether it's Democrat or Republican, young or old, white or black, male or female, gay or straight, that's politics. It just is. So I don't know too much of nothing what this guy or these two are hoping to gain out of this. I think you're just wasting time. And I think if the Attorney General of the United States gets the idea, notion, or gets the urging from you guys and the rest of the Democratic Party, if he does appoint that special counsel, he's going to be wasting time and taxpayers' dollars also. Because who cares? This is politics. It's an election year. That's all you guys are doing. Pulling out all the stops. Just all. No one cares. We know, or at least I would hope you guys know, when your leg is being pulled. It's not a moral issue or ethics. It's politics. You can pull the wool over someone else's eyes, but you ain't pulling the wool over mine. I know bull dookie when I see it and smell it. And that's what I see and smell. Ethics violation. Oh, how horrible. Ghost, get out of here. Go sit down somewhere, man. I'm sure your constituents in Rhode Island and Oregon need your help with something else more than this. I'm sure you have more pressing issues in your state with the United States as it is battling so much. You're going to horn in and focus on what old Chief Justice Clarence Thomas is doing. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, you guys are the standard bearers of morality. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Give it a rest. Give it a rest. I'm going to go on and get out of here. I'm going to go on and skedaddle. Hey, as always, I want to thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, share, offer feedback. Get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about these topics I talked about today. What do you think was going on? Is Chief Justice Clarence Thomas in violations of ethics for accepting these gifts and monies? Or is this just a political witch hunt? Political witch hunt. It is. It just is. Because if you guys were really and truthfully so horned in and focused on ethics and morality, I guarantee you, if you really were, you'll be sweeping. Might need to sweep around your own front door. Because I feel sure, and when I say this, there's some Democrats out there doing the exact same thing. This is politics. Ain't got nothing to do with being Democrat or Republican. This is politics. This is what politicians do. This is how laws get passed. It ain't up to the people. This is business as usual for politics. Just is. And also let me know what you guys think about President Joe Biden. Is he fit? Does he need to take a Parkinson's test? How is he going to do at this press meeting Thursday? How's he going to do at this NATO summit? We'll find out. We will find out. And also let me know what you guys think about Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson wanting to speak at this church with all these former charges and findings of fraud, child abuse, both sexual and physical, and slave labor, child labor violations. Is it the right thing to do? Or is it not? Maybe he should come up under ethics investigation too. Ew. I think you guys need to find something else to do. I just do. I'm serious. I'm sick of it. I got to be honest with you. I'd be so glad when this election is over. Because I'm tired of the dumbness that is being portrayed as morality and ethics, and you guys being the standard bearers that are telling me what is right and wrong. I have more than enough common sense. I don't need you to shove this crap down my throat. I know you're full of it. I know. I know after this election cycle is over, you guys aren't going to give 2 cents on what is going on until the next election cycle comes around. And then you're going to be standing on your soapbox and wagging your finger and looking over the rim of your glasses, acting as though you are the standard bearers of morality in this country. Full of crap. That's Democrat and Republican. young or old, white or black. I don't care. Gay or straight. I don't care. I know Bull Dookie when I see it and smell it. And this is Bull Dookie. You guys can care less until it's election time. So yeah, get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about what's going on in this country with politics and ethics and morality. Am I wrong or am I right? Is this just an election ploy? Yeah, it is. I tell you where I stand. I tell you where I stand. Hey, I'm going to go on and get on out of here. And as always, thank you for listening to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornegay. Amen.